A very tight game, not much in it at this stage as Billy Smith puts this ball in for St George. It's a St George ball. Billy Smith runs with it, gets it to Clay. Clay drops, gets his pass away to Gasnier, who takes it high. Chased by Greaves, gets his pass to King. King is tackled by Garter, and Garter just happens to virtually make him stumble and fall down. It wasn't a clean tackle. Marked by Raper, gets it to Raper, gets Johnny Raper to Clay. Clay getting it back there, that time to Rasmussen. Rasmussen bursts clear, comes to Little Johns, pushes him clear, gets his pass to Johnny Raper, to Johnny King. And Johnny King will score around the post, so big and he's over the line. A beautiful try from St George. Oh, that was magnificent football by St George. And the best player of that movement, I think, was Johnny Raper, aided by Rasmussen, who set up Johnny King, who came in from the wing like a flash to score just to the left of the posts. Right on the St George 25. It'll be a Canterbury ball. A dummy there by Kidd, decides to run, gets around Clay, still going almost clear there, eventually tackled by Graham Langlands. Plays it away to Cole Brown to Ryan. Ryan straight ahead, gets his pass back there to Kidd. Kidd tries to get underneath O'Hanlon and Cart. They're 10 yards out from the St George line. Cole Brown across to Tarver. Tarver to Hicks. Hicks straight ahead and well caught underneath. The first tackler in was O'Hanlon, and then also Beat came into her. From the dummy half, Kidd goes for the line and he's over. Oh, another magnificent try scored in this game. This time it's Ross Kidd from the dummy half has darted over to Canterbury Bankstown and right next to the post. And that's whittled down the St George lead to... There's the kick. And Garter just let that one go in a touch on the full. He's landed one. This is from the halfway line. If you can get this one over, there'll only be 2 points the difference as he comes in at St George 9, Canterbury 5. Lots of power, lots of distance. It's not bad, but flags it up. And right from the centre of the halfway line, George Tarrant has landed a goal for Canterbury Bankstown, and the score now, St George 9. Canterbury 7 with 12 minutes to go to St George. Put in by Smith, another Canterbury ball out to Doyle. Greaves, Hagan, whose winger Reynolds is much too wide. He couldn't get in position. It goes back here to Doyle. Doyle looks for the gap, goes inside, goes there. Chase to get his pass to Hagan. Hagan starting to the line to Reynolds. Reynolds is over the start line. He's scoring near the post. And Canterbury Bankstown has hit the lead. Canterbury Bankstown 10, St George 9, and the kick will come from about 6 yards to the left of the post. Well, high drama at the Sydney Cricket Ground as Hagan set up that try for Canterbury Bankstown. Completely took St George by surprise. And the last try scored by Barry Reynolds, the Canterbury Bankstown left winger, set up by Hagan. And now Canterbury Bankstown have hit the lead. Canterbury Bankstown 10, St George 9, and George Tarver to it. Gets to him, puts him down. Hicks also in there. He won't go down. Eventually is heavily dumped 10 yards inside the Canterbury half. Play the dummy half. Gets it out to Huddard. Huddard straight down the centre now. Looks for a bit of support as he does so and makes a good burst of about 15 yards. That's the sort of play St George need at the moment. Johnny Raper, the dummy half. Swings it to his right to Clay, then across to Billy Smith, then to Pollard. Pollard's got a bit of a gap here and he's flying for the line. Little Johns gets him low, gets it back to Raper, back to Beat. Beat is flying for the line and he's grasped about a yard short. The ball's loose. Beat still has it, he won't go down, and the referee has called for him to play the ball. Beat plays it away. It's bounced off a Canterbury player. Let's see what will happen with the penalty here to... He puts it over, St George back in the lead by a point and maybe into the grand final, but there's a long way to go yet. Here comes Dennis Preston, and it's a good-looking kick. The flags are up, and St George are back into the lead. St George now go to a lead of 11 points to 10 over Canterbury Bankstown after 14 minutes play in the second half. George Evans to feed this one for the Premiers. 22, and a penalty awarded to Canterbury Bankstown. Again within kicking range at the moment. It's St George 11, Canterbury 10. Lots of height and distance, could be a close one. And the flags are up, and Canterbury back in the lead. Canterbury Bankstown have got over the top of St George again and lead them 12 points to 11 with 22 minutes to go to full time. Here's St George, winners of the Sydney Premiership for 11 consecutive years, trying to make the grand final and make it 12 in a row, and now battling to get past this courageous Canterbury Bankstown side and qualify past this game, which of course is the final. There's the kick-off. It'll go back to Doyle. Doyle takes it behind his own line. He's got Jones in support, but he decides to kick. Fairly long one. Comes to Pollard on the St George right wing. Very few Canterbury players on side, of course, so he takes his time about kicking. Goes back to Hughes, the Canterbury left winger. Comes to Pollard. Pollard puts him down, aided by Preston, but Canterbury still have the ball. The dummy half is Cole Brown, feeding it back to Ryan. Ryan back to Johns. Johns can only kick from that position. There's his kick, which taken beautifully eventually by Huddard. Huddard decides to run across field. Everybody after him. He beats Cole Brown, crosses him up although he wasn't there. Tries to get past Kidd. Kidd gets him low, but he swings his pass back to Johnny Raper. Johnny Raper will take him. Cole Brown hits him hard. It won't go down. And he gets to his feet now and play it as it goes back across to Brian Clay. Then across to Rasmussen. Rasmussen with an inside pass to Gosnell. Gosnell's got a gap here and he's flying down the centre. Everybody's off. He looks to the first. Beautifully played down by Lewis just outside the Canterbury 25. Bring it only half, Billy Smith, and again back to Gosnell. Then across to Johnny Raper, backed up beautifully. He dumps heavily there, 20 yards out from the Canterbury line. We'll play for George Evans. St George coming back in full cry now as it goes across to Brian Clay. Rasmussen, Billy Smith looks for King on the other wing, but can't get his pass away. Decided to hang on. Will get to his feet now as the last tackle is called against St George, and another scrum to back down. And by Evans, ball in there somewhere. It's the St George ball to Clay. They might still pull it out of the fire as it goes to Gosnell. Gosnell with a long one to Pollard. Pollard looks inside, a bit of a gap coming up, kicks infield. After it is Ron Raper. The bounce, I think, will favour him, and it does so. Oh, a bit of a shepherd back there. It's the referee let go, and Ron Raper runs it out. Tries to get through Evans. He does so. Gets through Clay. Halfway towards the halfway line. Eventually put down by Walsh. Midway between the Canterbury 25 and the halfway line. Wilfrey did miss a rather bad piece of shepherding further back. Les Johns trying to go through and get through two tackles. Kicks now to the line over Johnny King's head. It's going to beat him, I think. I'm sure to roll into touch. First, and the flag goes up. Oh, what a magnificent kick by Les Johns. The flag has been raised 10 yards from the St George line. The clock showing 2.5 at the very outside minutes to go to full time with Canterbury leading St George.
Won't be there because they're down by 1 point. And unless a miracle occurs out of this scrum, they can't win this game. The miracle won't occur. Ross Kidd has it. He's put down on the ground. The referee has said it's all over, and Canterbury Bankstown has done the impossible and knocked the famous St George side out of the Rugby League Premiership in 1967. The crowd of 49,941 are seeing Rugby League football history. The great era of Rugby League football in Sydney has come to an end, a temporary end, and in a way it's a little bit sad. St George have won 11 consecutive premierships, something no other team in any sort of senior international football has ever been able to do. And now it's all over, and the scene on the Sydney Cricket Ground as the players congratulate each other is almost of a test match standard as players are swapping jumpers. Quickly for Canterbury Bankstown. Look at the St George players now. Sportsmen right down, clapping the Canterbury side off the field, lining up the traditional sportsman alley. And Canterbury off the field, they're carrying Kevin Ryan off there in the centre of that bunch. St George shaking their hands, swapping jumpers and cheering them off the field. A well-deserved victory for Canterbury Bankstown, and this long, long era of the invincible St George has come to an end. Canterbury Bankstown has defeated St George 12 points to 11 and now goes into the Rugby League Grand Final to play South Sydney.